All right, here's a very bizarre story about the Tzemach Tzedek. And Tzemach Tzedek was the third Rebbe of Chabad. And he had a lot of Hasidim from all over. One of these Hasidim was let me just have 1 second. So one of these Hasidim was a businessman. And his business was that once, twice, 3 times a year, he would go to a big market. They would make a big, a market day. And all of the farmers and people would come to this big, huge market. And there would always be street performers or beggars and all sorts of things. And they would go to the market. Oh, here it is. Yes. So they would go to the market, and he would also bring a wagon to the market, and he had all these little things, and he would sell, and that would keep him over for the next few months until the next market day. But it was a lot of work, and he had to go far away, and he didn't like it at all. There was just nothing else that he could do to make a living, and it took away his time from learning Torah, and the profits that he made were also very minimal. But mainly he had to see all these terrible things in the marketplace and hear these things which were, not conducive to Judaism or not even conducive to being decent. Anyway, one day it was going to this market. The market was in some place. He was trotting along with this. Suddenly he saw a little path, and he realized that if he took this path and he walked for an hour or two, that he would be in Lubavitch. And in Lubavitch was where the Tzemach Tzedek was. And it was getting close to the holiday. In another couple of days, it was going to be the holiday of Shavuot, of giving of the Torah. And he really wanted to be by the Rebbe for Shavuot, the holiday of Shavuot. Shavuot comes 50 days after Passover, right? He really wanted to be by the Rebbe. And so he thought to himself, but how am I going to go there? The way, it wasn't big enough for his wagon to go. It was big enough for him to walk. So he was thinking to himself, should I go? Shouldn't I go? As it was, he was planning to go to this market day, and the market day was right after Shavuot, but he had to get there before. He had to get there before and prepare. It was supposed to be right after Shavuot. So he would have to find a place to stay and everything like that. He said, I'm going to go to the Rebbe. So he took his wagon and he put it in the bushes off to the side, and he covered it over. And he took his horse and he put it sort of a distance away by a place where there was what to eat, a shaded place. And he took his clothes. He had clothes with him. It was going to be the holiday anyway. And he went to the Rebbe. So he went to the Rebbe, and he got to the Rebbe, but he sort of didn't want the Rebbe to know what he did. So he just sort of kept hidden all the time by the Rebbe. So finally the holiday ended. It's 2 days outside of Israel. The holiday ended, and he was going to go back, and there was a knock on the door, and he said the Rebbe would like to see you. So he went to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, you really gave a big self-sacrifice coming here. He says, yes, I did. So the Rebbe said, well, because you did it with self-sacrifice, so you don't have to worry. You're not going to lose anything. Would you like to make a request? So he said, yes, Rebbe, I don't like the job that I'm doing. I have to sell all these little things, and it takes me away from learning Torah, and I don't feel I should be doing it. And I don't make really very much money anyway, and I have to see all these terrible things. So the Rebbe said to him, okay, when you get back, you'll find your carriage has not been touched. And the first job offer that you're given, take it. So he said, okay. So he walked back, and sure enough, there was this carriage. It was in the bushes where he put it, and his horse was there. And he was just, sort of inspecting the thing. He was unhitching the horse and bringing the horse over to his carriage. And all of a sudden came to him an honorable-looking fellow. He looked like some sort of a servant or whatever. And he said, excuse me, do you own this wagon? He said, yes, I do. He said, well, you should know this is on the property of the Baron. So I didn't know. I'm very sorry. He said, the Baron would like to talk to you. He said, okay, I'm sorry, if I have to pay, fine. So he went over the Baron. The Baron said, this is yours? He said, yes. He said, I don't understand what is it. You left it here just for 2 days. We looked inside. It's got all sorts of little wares and things to sell, merchandise inside. What did you do? And you're not worried it's going to get stolen? I mean, this doesn't make, you thought maybe, there were robbers, maybe they killed you. But then why did they leave all the merchandise? What did you do? So he said, well, I have a rabbi, a big teacher, and he lives, his synagogue is not far away from here. He said, you mean you left all of your merchandise? What do you have this merchandise for? He said, I go and I sell it. So you left all of your merchandise in order to go to see your rabbi? You weren't worried about? I said, no, listen, I'm a Jew, I wanted to be closer to God. So he said, listen, I got a job offer for you. Oh, job offer? I said, listen. He said, I'll take it. I said, 1 second, you don't even know what it is. He said, my rabbi told me that whatever offer I'm given, I should take it. First one. I said, okay, well, let me show it to you, though. It's not far from here. Get in your carriage, follow me. Gets in the carriage, follows them. They drive like whatever is half an hour. And he sees this big building. It looked like a hotel or something. Right on the corner, there's these two roads. And this is like right on the, on the crossroads. A big building. It's sort of like run down a little bit. He said, see this hotel? I want you to run the hotel. He said, okay, but the hotel said, go and ask your wife. He said, no, I don't have to. My rabbi told me. He said, but this place is a little bit run down. I don't have the funds to. The Baron said, listen, I'll fix the place up. Don't worry about it. I'll fix it all up. It'll be like brand new. He'll come inside. He took him inside, new mattresses. I'll paint the whole place. There'll be new furniture, new everything. And just it'll be open for business. You'll put a big sign. And you can pay me back whenever you can. You can pay me back whenever. I'll put all the money into it, and you pay me back. I'll give you a big, reduction. He said, all right, but how do I know I'm going to make? Don't worry about anything. So he goes and he tells his wife, got good news. He told him about the Rebbe. He sold his merchandise for whatever, half the price, so he has a little bit of money. And he comes with his wife and his whole family, and they move. They move into the hotel, and the hotel has 50 rooms in it, whatever. And the kitchen, meanwhile, has been worked on, and it's all, it's been kosher and whatever it is. And people start pouring in. As soon as he opens up, people start pouring into the place. The place is filled. And there's business all the time. And people make weddings there, and the kitchen is going, and he's making money hand over fist. In 1 month, he pays back all of the investment that the Baron made. And this is one day that comes up to the hotel a group of religious Jews. He says, oh, there's religious Jews here in the area? Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. We can make a minyan. He says, listen, we didn't come for that. We came to tell you, get out. Get out of here as soon as you can. So, what do you mean, get out? I'm succeeding. He says, listen, that Baron is no fool. Why do you think this place was so run down, abandoned? He said, because the place is cursed. It's cursed. He said, you see that house that's over there? See that house over there? So that house over there lives witches, sorcerers. The Baron himself is afraid of them. He's afraid of them. And meanwhile, he built this whole hotel. He didn't know that the witches were there. Anyone who comes and moves into this place, he succeeds, just like you're succeeding. And then they start to suck the life out of him. They take the life out of him. And little by little, you'll feel you get weaker and weaker and weaker. And that's how they get their energy. That's how they get their energy. And I said, the Baron, like I said, he's afraid of them, doesn't know what to do. If our advice to you is get out of here as fast as possible. So, oh, thank you very much for telling me. Suddenly remembered, 1 second, the Rebbe told me that I should take the first offer. So listen, my Rebbe told me that I should take the first offer. He said, listen, your Rebbe didn't mean that. He must have meant something else. It can't be that he meant you for this place is dangerous. I'm telling you, it's a death trap. You got to get out of them. So he said, no, if my Rebbe told me to stay, then I'm staying. I'm staying. If you want to, I'll come to your minyan. You have a synagogue. Yeah, we have a synagogue. It's like, a half-hour walk from here. But we're, please. He says, no, I'm staying. So he stays. And sure enough, he goes and he prays with them. All of a sudden, like after about 3 months. So suddenly he starts to feel a little bit weak. It used to be that he would, be awake like, 18 hours of the day, and then he would sleep like 6 hours. But suddenly he started to sleep not 6 hours a night. He was sleeping like 8 hours a night, and then he was sleeping 10 hours a night, and then he was sleeping 12, and then he started sleeping like 15. In the day, he felt weaker and weaker, and suddenly he thought, "Wow, this. I think the curse is starting to work for these people. That's what they told us is going to happen." Finally, gets up to the point where he's sleeping like 23 hours a day. He's always knocked out. So he tells one of his servants, "Listen, take me to the Tzemach Tzedek. Take me to the Tzemach Tzedek to Lubavitch as soon as you can." So it wasn't a long journey, and they took him to Lubavitch. It was on Friday, and it happened to be this week's Torah portion, Parshas Balak. It was Parshas Balak, and he gets there. It's all he can do is just drag himself to a place to sleep, and he sleeps. In the morning, he tells the servant to wake him up. He gets to the prayers, and the Tzemach Tzedek he read from the Torah. The third Rebbe of Chabad, Tzemach Tzedek, he read from the Torah. So he read from the Torah. As soon as this fellow comes in to the synagogue, this Chassid comes in. So the Tzemach Tzedek says Ya'amod, and he calls his name. He calls him up to the Torah. He doesn't even look. Calls him up to the Torah. He gets to the Torah. It's the fifth Aliyah. One of the sentences in there is this is all the blessings that Bilam gave, right? So one of the blessings says Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael. There is no sorcery in Jacob, and no magic in, black magic or whatever, in magic cannot have an effect on Yisrael. Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael. That's what he said. So the Tzemach Tzedek, meanwhile, our Chassid is just like barely standing up. He has to have somebody to help him. And the Tzemach Tzedek repeats this one sentence like 5 or 6 times. Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael. Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael. He repeats it. Nobody knows why, but he's repeating the sentence over and over again. That's it. He finishes reading. Our Chassid drags himself back to his room, and he after the Shabbat, he feels a little bit better. So he has his servant bring him to the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek says he wants to see him. And he comes in, he says another time, remember, Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael, Lo nachash b'Yaakov, lo kesem b'Yisrael. He says it like 5 or 6 times. And he goes back to sleep. In the morning, Sunday, he gets in his carriage. He feels a lot better. And he gets in his carriage and he goes back to the hotel. When he goes back to the hotel, he reaches the hotel. All of those Jews that told him to leave, they're all standing there waiting. Says, "Oh, you're alive. You're all right." Says, "Yes, I went to the rabbi." He says, "Listen, you'll never believe what happened." They all say, "You never believe what happened." He said, on Shabbat, in the daytime, all of a sudden there broke out this big argument between all of those sorcerers and those evil, whatever it is, necromancers, whatever they're called. All of the sorcerers, a big argument broke out between them. And they all started hitting one another, and they took weapons and they started stabbing each other and knocking each other and hitting each other with hammers and this and that. And they all died. Look at them. The whole place is filled with their bodies. Each one of them killed, and the untouchables that even the Baron was afraid of. And it says, they all destroyed each other. And suddenly he realized that it was the time when the Tzemach Tzedek was reading from the Torah that's what destroyed them. And he realized that was the reason that the Tzemach Tzedek told him that he should take the job in order to destroy these sorcerers. Because like Bilam, it says Moses was afraid of Bilam. He was afraid. And it says the same, just like Bilam, that eventually their own selves brought about their destruction, and through the blessing of the Rebbe. So the Rebbe caused this argument to cause between them whatever happened, and things happened in a natural way. But on the other hand, in a supernatural way, but it depended on the suffering of this Chassid. The Chassid had to put himself into the situation, and by means of him being into the situation, so he had a handhold on their evil, and from that he could destroy the whole thing. And so it is with us. We've been in exile in the clutches of the evil of the world for 2,000 years, and now the Rebbe is giving the blessing, Hine Mashiach Ba, and God willing, all of the evil forces will all fight one against the other and destroy one another. And there'll be left only good, and Hashem will have the rulership, with the Geula Mitit Shlema, a tremendous redemption by means of the Rebbe, Melech HaMashiach, now. Have a good day. Tomorrow, Friday, we will have a class, 8:15. See you all tomorrow. Shalom uvracha.